Today, we take a look at one of Avatar's most beloved characters, Uncle Iroh. Iroh is both loving and wise, a master at both wisdom and relationships. Specifically, we'll examine Iroh's approach to setting boundaries in a relationship, and how we can use his approach in our own lives. The strange thing about Iroh is he has the most solid boundaries of all the characters, and yet he demonstrates warmth and closeness, even towards people who are toxic and difficult. He never compromises on his beliefs and virtues, and yet he's constantly in the presence of people who are occupied with negative thoughts. How is this even possible? When we think about boundaries, most of us think about cutting people off, of setting a wall between us and them, and yet Iroh does the exact opposite. He embraces and is present with people who are difficult and toxic, but he never becomes like them. In fact, they become influenced by Iroh. So what's happening here? Here are 3 reasons why Iroh is a master at setting boundaries. Number 1. Iroh embraces people, but not their opinions. We all know Zuko's obsession with the Avatar and the restoration of his honor, and we all know that Iroh is his constant companion throughout. But notice, Iroh almost never endorses any of Zuko's opinions or actions. In one scene, Zuko insists on another one of his schemes. When Iroh tries to advise him, Zuko says, "I know my own destiny, uncle." And in response, Iroh says, "Is it your destiny? Or is it a destiny someone else has forced onto you?" Iroh is always there for Prince Zuko. He never abandons him, but at the same time, he constantly challenges his opinions. He encourages Zuko to think about his beliefs and whether they are the truth or not. This is the same approach we ought to employ when dealing with loved ones who exhibit toxic beliefs and behaviors. We don't have to cut them off, but we have to be very deliberate about not embracing their opinions and even challenging them when possible. Reason number 2. Iroh is with people, but he does not engage in the same actions. In another scene, Zuko and Iroh have become poor runaways. They barely have enough to get by, and one day, Zuko brings his uncle a beautiful but obviously stolen teapot. To this, Iroh replies, "The best tea tastes delicious, whether it comes in a porcelain pot or a tin cup." What's happening here is Zuko has engaged in an act of theft, but Iroh does not participate in it, not even by taking advantage of the stolen teapot. He sets a strong boundary, not to cut off Zuko, but rather to not engage and support criminal behavior. What's even more amazing is he's able to do so without putting down Zuko. It's a skill most of us struggle with. We may be in a friend group that tells offensive jokes, and we feel we have to participate by laughing. Or we may have relatives who love to gossip and backbite, and we feel the need to do as they do. But Iroh shows us that that's not the case. We can be fully present with people, and at the same time, choose a course of action that is completely different from what they have chosen. Reason number 3. Iroh directs the conversation, not the other way around. Throughout the series, Zuko is an embodiment of tension, angrily shouting about how bad his life is, how they need to capture the Avatar, and about the loss of his honor. And yet in almost every situation, Iroh manages to talk about how delicious jasmine tea is, or about how true peace is found by understanding yourself. It may seem effortless on Iroh's part, but it's actually a very deliberate maneuver to turn away the conversation from hopelessness and despair and instead towards calmness. In one serious moment from the show, Zuko contemplates giving up, saying, "There's no honor for me without the Avatar. There is no hope at all." And Iroh replies, "No, Zuko. You must never give in to despair. Allow yourself to slip down the road and you surrender to your lowest instincts." This is no accident. Iroh is acutely aware of where the tide of the conversation is going, but chooses to direct it instead of being swept away by it. Many of us feel drained from interactions with people whom we label toxic, and a lot of that comes from allowing yourself to be swept away and influenced by the conversation. But you don't have to. You can be in the presence of someone negative and instead choose to direct the conversation, just like Iroh did with Zuko. No matter how negative, angry, and lost Zuko was, Iroh was very firm in choosing to direct the course of the interaction. In summary, those are the three reasons why Iroh is so good at setting boundaries. 1. Iroh embraces people, but not their opinion. 2. Iroh is with people, but he does not engage in the same actions. 3. Iroh directs a conversation, not the other way around. Iroh is a model when it comes to nurturing relationships. He shows us that boundaries don't have to be harsh and cruel. In fact, you can be in the presence of someone toxic and difficult and still hold on tightly to boundaries. When that happens, you maintain a strong sense of who you are and become a positive influence on negative situations instead of negative situations influencing you. For more thoughts and thinks, like and subscribe. For suggestions, leave a comment. To speak to a representative, press 1.